Hello everyone, my name is Preeti Tanti and I'll be presenting Hindu nationalism, Rightist discourse and the present scenario. This presentation focuses on the structural transformation of the Indian state. In the present scenario of 2026, we are analyzing Hindu nationalism or Hindutva not merely as a political movement but as a totalizing rightist discourse. Our objective is to examine how this framework has redefined the Indian social contract, moving from a secular liberal republic toward what is now termed a civilizational state. To understand this shift, we must look at Antonio Gramsci's theory of hegemony. By 2026, Hindutva has achieved a war of position, successfully moving from the political periphery to become the national common sense. This institutional deepening means that the discourse now provides the foundational logic for our bureaucracy, the judiciary, and the educational apparatus. This is what scholars call deep state consolidation, where the ideology is no longer dependent on a single leader, but is embedded into the standard operating procedures of the state machinery. The first major debate is ontological. We are witnessing a constant contestation between the 1950s Westphalian Republic and the concept of India as a civilizational state. The rightist discourse frames secularism as a Western colonial imposition and advocates for a return to dharmic governance. In 2026, this manifests in the prioritization of cultural morality over constitutional morality. This shift is not just symbolic, it affects policy decisions from the renaming of cities to the total overhaul of criminal codes to reflect an indigenous rather than a colonial legal identity. Secondly, we look at the transformation of the demos. There is a clear transition from territorial citizenship jus soli toward a cultural religious belonging model known as jus sanguinis, utilizing tools like the CAA NRC framework. Religious identity has become a primary filter for belonging. In political theory, this is analyzed as the rise of an ethnic democracy, a system where democratic procedures remain, but the state structurally identifies with the majority group. This creates a tiered hierarchy of citizenship where loyalty to civilizational values become a prerequisite for full political participation. A unique feature of the 2026 scenario is saffron neoliberalism. This is a sophisticated synthesis of market driven capitalism and muscular cultural nationalism. It links India's global superpower status directly to Hindu cultural unity. By merging corporate modernism with traditional pride, the discourse effectively co opts the aspirational youth. Furthermore, this is now a global project. The discourse utilizes the vast Indian diaspora as cultural ambassadors to influence global politics, framing the rise of Hindu nationalism as part of a broader global shift toward right wing traditionalism and a multipolar world order. However, this discourse faces a significant shift in India's federal dialectic. The centralizing impulse of one nation, one culture is in constant conflict with the deep regional and linguistic subnationalisms of states like those in South India and West Bengal. This resistance proves that total ideological consolidation is difficult in a diverse federal structure. This, these regional pockets maintain a pluralistic tension, serving as a democratic safety valve against the totalizing tendencies of the national rightist discourse. To conclude, the 2026 scenario represents a fundamental relocation of the center in Indian politics. India is currently a site for a grand experiment. reconciling an ancient civilizational identity with 21st century democratic structures. The defining question for our discipline remains: can a majoritarian civilization model sustain the deep diversity required for a functional federal democracy? Thank you.